during the campaign, time-wise, money-wise, etc. So real quickly, think of your campaign as a startup, i.e. you have an idea, you want it to get to fruition. A startup is where an entrepreneur has an idea, she or he says, hey, I've got this, and they develop a concept, they shop it around venture capitalists or other people to fund it. They develop a market plan, they go to the market, and it grows, 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 and of course their goal is to go public and make the big bucks. We don't make the big bucks on these local races. So think of your little startup. You have an idea, you encourage people to support you, you develop a platform, you market yourself to potential donors. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, to raise bucks. And early bucks, Emily's list you've heard of, early money is like yeast, it grows more dough. And that is so important. The more money you have, the earlier you get, the better you are. You create a website, mailers, and you knock on doors. And you build a campaign with one sales process. When you're selling a product in the market, it's ongoing. With us, it's election period. It used to be election day in the old days, and now it's election period, absentee, mail-in, and all that. And once you've won your election, guess what? Your startup has no reason to exist. So, as I mentioned earlier, think about it 2 years in advance. And I'm not going to ask you why, but I've described it. It's a process where you build your civic resume, and then you have, excuse me, you develop your credibility, your street creds, that Mike Noble gets the job done because he's done this, he's done that, yada, yada, yada. You get on planning commissions. In Bothell and most places, if you're on the planning commission, it's like a stepping stone. And, or you become an opinion leader for your community. When we were on the dais and somebody get energized and they'd be coming to council or they'd be sitting in their regular seat, we'd say, yeah, Joe Blow or Susie Q, they're going to make a run next time, and invariably they would. And that's good, because that forces the electeds to be on their toes. And if you're not on your toes, you don't do a good job. So let me ask you the question, if it's like a startup, what would you justify your expenses for? What's the primary purpose that you justify your expenses?
To help get your name and face out before the public.
That's a tool.
What was
Build
that?
capital, build infrastructure.
That's one of them.
I didn't hear the first one. What is it?
No, to build your brand, in effect.
Get your name up there.
Yeah. Well, I'll answer it. All of those are important, but it's election day. And if you're in a multi-candidate race, you want at least to be the top two for the primary, or 51. I always say, you say 50% plus one. No, you want 51%. So, justifying. Okay, I want to quickly go through a couple other things on this sheet. So often, candidates will emphasize the feature and not the benefit. I supported Bernie, but it got frustrated because he was talking about breaking up the big banks. What does that mean to me? And that's one of the things that candidates don't do. So I'm going to put on my glasses because I can't see very closely, but took from the book, the problem, the city needs more community parks. Then his feature or solution is, well, using my skill winning grants, I'll push fund new pocket parks. But really the benefit, and you've got to frame it, voters should benefit from my campaign position. Our children will be able to play basketball closer to home. In other words, you frame it in a way that somebody can say, yeah, I can understand that. And this is George Lakoff, who is, I'm not sure his background, but boy, he's sharp. And he's talking about how do you frame the discussion. And unfortunately, I was going to say fascists, but I'll say Republicans, they have framed it so well, and we've been chasing after them. Whatever the term is, they have controlled the word. We have to control the word. And on the local level, how does it benefit me in the community? Another one, community traffic overflows in our residential streets. Okay, I have a position. I support funding to add lanes to County Ring Road so out-of-town commuters will not cut through our residential streets. But the frame or the benefit is our neighborhood streets will be quieter and safer. So you want to tie it back to that. And this one, this is, some of these are conceptual, but this one, Dave Mattins, who was a really great assessor, unfortunately Teabagger took him out about 6 years ago. The issue, citizens cannot readily access information about their properties. Well, here's a feature, while assessor, and this is directly from his and I discussion of what he talked about, while assessor, I phased out paper to move the county to digital technology using this state-of-the-art GPS mapping. And then he said, while re-elected, I'll push to further enhance GPS system. Well, the frame and the benefit is landowners will save time and resulting expenses will be decreased by shortening the time to find information on their properties. That's how they benefit, and that's the key. Everything you have to do is how will what you recommend benefit, the public. Now, of course, I'm jumping from lots of things, so some of these, if there doesn't seem to be a logic to it, there is in the book. One of the things you need to do, as you mentioned, market the brand. You need to have a catchy slogan for you. Helen Price Johnson, in the most recent race, had one of the best little phrases, sound leadership for both of our islands. To me, it said it all. Of course, she had the street creds because she's been in office for 2 terms. But for us newbies, you want to talk about how it's something that people will feel good about. So for instance, elect Mike Smith for a better city. Elect Mike Smith, your voice at City Hall. Mike Smith, effective, fair, and balanced. Mike Smith, performance, not promises. I have to chuckle here. In '73, I got a job with the county commissioner in Houston, Harris County, and Tom Bass, he was a great guy, good Catholic, had 10 kids, and his tagline was performance, not promises. What do you do? But he had fun with it, we had fun with him. Another one is serious problems for serious solutions. There's a whole slew of them that you can add that's a tagline that you feel comfortable with and people will feel good about. The goal of the marketing, the goal of everything you do is the following phrase in the voter's mind. Charlie candidate gets my vote because ellipsis, and you fill in the blanks. If you've done your homework right, that's what they will that's what they'll gravitate to and fill in the blanks.